Let's see what the day has in store for me.
Right, Neville, you have permission to speak now.
Huh?
Speak.
You know one thing I realized about Neville? He forgets we have frequencies. For him, he thinks everybody can see us
the camera.
The camera. and he conducts himself in studio like everything is on camera.
You're very right, Maria.
There are people listening in
I
Cape
can't
Town
lie to you.
and Marienthal.
That's it. I think, guys, I've got so much into the streaming element of what we do that, and the thing is, I like to be animated.
Yeah.
I speak with my body and expressions, and obviously even in my comedy routines, what I do on stage is very physical. So I forget die mense luister. So, wat lees jy?
That's the comments.
Oh, okay. Luister, girlfriend. It's a groot story vanaand.
It's a groot story vanaand. Big things are happening in this country.
Yes, it's the first ever to happen in the country, right?
Yes.
The first ever presidential debate.
29 years.
To those of you that do not know, it's taking place tonight at the NTN Theatre.
And don't just rock up. There's an RSVP that needs to.
I'm here to MC.
I just on radio. No, you have to RSVP and you have to guess because there's only. I understand the reason they're doing it. And just by the way, it's being done by Eagle FM, New Kid on the Block. But we know it's a talk radio show, talk radio station. They only have, I think, the venue they secured, the NTN, only has, I think, 400 seats. So obviously they're coming on a first come first basis, but you have to RSVP and you get your confirmation and then you can attend. You don't just rock up. Your name has to. There's gonna be a list.
All right, now just give us a bit of a 411 on how many there. I think 14 presidential candidates.
I'm not the most well versed on
14.
it because
14.
Yeah, I'm not the most well versed on it because I'm obviously not part of Eagle FM. But what I do know is that a majority of the political parties have confirmed their attendance. I know we have people like the Nudo, LPM, we have RDP. I think Venani himself is going to be there. RDP. And so forth. So there's a number of them, including the independent candidate. I believe so far the only person that has not confirmed, if memory serves me well, is Swapo. I know it will Swapo.
Wait a minute.
No, I mean,
but is it
like the Swapo like candidate?
The Swapo presidential candidate?
Yes.
It's not quite. Yeah. Okay.
Who we know is the current president of the country. Yeah, so
maybe Itula is representing Swapo.
No, guys,
Maria, you must be clear on these things. You can't just
I'm sure those
here.
questions will pop up, but I am very excited to attend. I'm very because I like engagement, and I think for the longest time we've been asking for this, maybe inspired by the US system. We've been asking for presidential debate because we want to see how people discuss issues and how they argue
where they are
on certain issues. And even if you're not engaging them, you have a moderator, but and how they challenge each other, because that's part of a debate, how you challenge each other and call each other out. And for the longest time we've wanted that platform. I mean, obviously Eagle FM saw an opportunity, took it. It was well received. And those of us that are attending are very excited to see what's in store tonight.
Come on, those of us that are attending, show up.
Us that have got our booking confirmation.
Did you RSVP for the whole crew or just?
No, just for Chris and myself.
We in Maria, that is you are so biased. When Lazarus Jacobs had a show 2 weeks ago, you RSVP'd for all of us.
I didn't know want to go.
Why would I not want to go?
I really didn't think about it. I should have. In hindsight, I should have.
Oh, let's go. Yeah. We forgive you for this one.
No, I think Maria Cube is wow. When I saw this on social media yesterday, I think I picked up on it yesterday morning on social media. And I saw some pictures of the presidential candidates or representing the different political parties. and I saw this debate at the NTN. I was like, wow. So I took a screenshot of it and I sent it to my relevant WhatsApp groups. It's always Khanjela. It's always Khanjela. So, like you say, Maria, I'm equally so much looking forward to it. I think with last year with the presidential or the political party debates in South Africa, I think they had these town hall meetings from region to region in South Africa. It was rowdy. It was vote geweest, my bro. So I see the same robust, engaging, and often insulting.
I did say that the moderator will try to ensure that there's a decorum maintained, so they can have the debates, but that hitting below the belt or the personal insults won't be allowed to fly. So they still want it to be.
Moderator is probably going to be chosen.
Just by the way, the reason I'm saying a candle. Yesterday I'm listening to radio and Saibe from the LPM on Eagle FM. And they asked him about, the independent candidate asked that the opposition parties all kind of abandon the race and throw him their support, their weight behind him, so that he can, fight Hage, in fact, And so Henny was asked his opinion on this. That man is very arrogant. He says that man is very arrogant to even request and make such a suggestion because where was he 6 months ago? Where was he 6 years ago? He said some of us didn't even know him until he popped up. So we've been doing the work on the ground. And I understood when he said it, I understood it. He said, we've been doing the work on the ground. They have. They've been in the South, talking to their members, trying to get them the land that they want to get them or whatever else they want to do for them. But they've been on the ground for years now. So it is a bit arrogant, I think, for somebody to come in and say, well,
I'm the one.
I'm the Messiah. I'm the one that can fight this person, It's very offensive, and I get it, and I get the opposition parties that would be irritated. I'm sure PDM and LPM will probably be the most irritated by that suggestion. Yeah. But I'm sure it will come out in the debate. That point might come out.
And I see. I saw in the papers yesterday. I think who's this March from?
Henk March
from RP.
Yeah, who sort of relinquished his candidacy.
It's him and RDP.
And decided to throw their weight behind.
Also, NIF. Namibia EFF.
Not RDP, sorry. NIF. Yeah, Namibia EFF. And I wish they didn't call themselves that.
Yeah. It's
like
disgusting.
Night and day. Like
they dilute the EFF brand so much.
They thought putting on that red outfit would be enough.
And you know what the sad part is? They're always going to be tied to whatever the EFF is doing in SA. It's sort of going to be a reflection. I know, and I told you I've got friends in the EFF in SA, and my friend St. Letse, he said that's one of their regrets giving that support because they didn't do their research. They thought it would be just based on the information they had, it was like a breakaway, somebody that's popular and will run the discourse in Namibia, and they were just excited to give a stamp of approval. And then after they assessed it and after it was too late, they realized, whoa, this is not the person. And it's a bit of a schlep because, for example, we know EFF in SA is pro-LGBTQ, so they're pro-gay rights. EFF in NIF, Namibia's EFF, came out with the anti-gay agenda, like the first thing they did. And it's like, so you just wanted the name. You don't want to represent the same. Yes.
Exactly.
You just want to ride on our popularity.
You just want to ride on the popularity, but you're not fighting for the same things. You don't have the same agenda. And I hope it's addressed today. Just even that.
Moderator.
I see you. She doesn't need to be the moderator. She'll get the mic.
I don't know if we're going to be allowed to.
No, we'll sneak in one of those loudspeaker things.
Yeah, but you should be a reflection of the organization you seek to represent.
Yes.
And you can't come in like the first thing is like so anti and like we know with the EFF in SA they're fighting for land. I don't see any our NEF fighting for that. In fact, I see that with LPM.
Yeah.
So it's a nice name. They took it. They wanted to ride that wave, but they. Last election they got 0 seats. Let's be very clear.
They don't have a Julius Malema. Julius Malema was the whole reason behind the popularity of the EFF in South Africa.
And I even said to St. Lisa, if you had somebody like Job that decides to leave the party, and somebody like Job had started something like NEF, it would have worked because they really have the same kind of, interests, so to say, and they have the same. They're fighting for the same things. But for the current president, who shall remain nameless at this point, no. Sorry.
The thing is just that, for instance, if we talk about the Namibian EFF guys, and at this moment in time, they seem to be in the same frame for me as this Land First, Black First, Land First movement, who just deregistered as a political party in South Africa. I mean, you can come up with a cool name, like you do say, and ride on the popularity of something else or somebody else's agenda, etc., etc. But soon, that there's no substance in what you're doing. So I personally will not waste my vote on Namibian EFF or whatever. I'm not going to do something like that. So
that's literally a wasted vote.
With all due
keep your voice to yourself. Chris is here to monitor the situation. Like, hello.
That is legit a wasted vote. Don't even try.
Yeah, he tried to do something with.
It might as well be a
with his hand there.
It might as well be a spoiled ballot.
Chris, ask you here, okay?
Oh, don't ask them.
No. You need to sit down, okay? Chris, we were just briefly touching on the
presidential debate.
On the debate coming up tonight.
Yes.
And
Chris is an attending, by the way.
Yeah. Julle gaan nie alleen nie, ek gaan saam.
Wow.
Ja, ek gaan saam. Okay.
Sit tussen ons. People can see the difference.
Yeah. Now, Chris, we're so much looking forward to this. We have different presidential candidates who's going to be there this evening, and it's the first of its kind in Namibia. Like I told the guys in the studio now, I saw this yesterday on social media, and I was like, wow. I took a screenshot of it, and I sent it to my relevant WhatsApp groups. I'd say, oh, it's Khanjela. So everybody's like, and there are how many seats?
400.
About 400, yeah.
I think 425 or something like that. So it's going to be packed. What do you foresee to come out of this evening? It's the first of its kind in Namibia.
Well, hopefully it's a debate about issues, but I will not hold my breath on that one. Because recently there was the statement from the independent candidate that the other party should join his campaign, the other president. And I don't think the guys in the debate is not going to address that. At least react.
I said the same thing on it.
To it. I think it will be less issues. I will not be surprised if they don't agree on most of the things that we were supposed they would agree on. For instance, issues around the ECN.
Yeah.
I don't think we will leave there with one opinion because they are just too diverse. I hear people talk about the competition of conversation. It's to me it's a too small word like conversation. I think it's a debate about what will happen in 5 years, because then we will have another presidential election. You will have in the meantime congresses of parties. Unfortunately or fortunately for SWAPO, it's the only party that have a Congress that people fall back on. Say, this is what you said, this is what you've done, this is what happened here and there. And the other parties don't have that. So you cannot interrogate that decisions. But I think they will interrogate each other tonight. But I think the main thing that will start is the question of just two candidates. I'm convinced it will come up. I will be surprised if it doesn't come up. Then, obviously, they've struck a deal before and say, no, let's not talk about it.
Yeah, okay, now that's an interesting question. So then the question comes up. It will be addressed because I think the political parties, to my understanding, that were invited are aware that anything is up for discussion. But, okay, so let's say the question comes up. Now you only have Itula to say something on it, because as we know right now, as of now, still, SWAPO is not, SWAPO as we know it, I'm not talking about Itula, has not said, they've not confirmed their attendance. So now we only have one person to answer that question. Will that not give like, what I'm trying to say is SWAPO's absence, does it not kind of, does them an injustice because they're not there to maybe address some of the questions or misconstrued, or even if there's any attacks on the party, there's nobody at the podium or on stage that can speak for the party and, if need be, defend the party.
Maria, that is one of those things that I personally believe can cut both ways. You are the editor of Informanté. Many times you are confronted by, say, doing a story that was maybe in another paper, but it's a very small paper. Sometimes you think, but must I now give credibility to the smaller one and stick with my story as the bigger one? So I think in this case, SWAPO might think, listen, there will be people in the audience because it will be a debate, a platform that will say whatever they want. So you are right, it can cut both ways. It will be nice if SWAPO is there, but imagine now there are 10 guys on the stage and SWAPO gets, for some fluke, maybe 10 seconds, or on the other side, takes over the debate because it's big and have people in the audience that will support them.
More people want to hear from them.
Yeah. Yes, and then it will also pull its skew. So it will be nice to have them there. Of course it will be. But I think they thought about this and said, look, Itula is an independent candidate saying that he's supporting SWAPO. I don't think they want that thing to be discussed in the debate. I would not. Because it's an internal party matter for that matter, at the moment.
Yeah. But what about the other issues, or the national issues that perhaps people are seeking clarity on? Because I think the Itula is like, I think that's a drop in the ocean. It's in the grand scheme of things. I think if I were to engage, let's say, SWAPO, it wouldn't be about Itula. It would just be, I think, about the national discourse. I mean, they're currently in
national
power.
Issues,
yeah, the national issues. So is it also, again, I get the Itula that might be one of the reasons to avoid it. But then what about just clarity on, I mean, I'm asking you like you're a representative for
And I'm very worried about it. I wanted to ask you what happened last night because I'm very worried about you.
Maybe I thought you were Sophia Shaningwa.
Were you at home?
Yeah, anyway. No, it's questions that I think have I think there's major disappointment. Look, and I get what Chris is saying. There's major disappointment that they're not there, but also, I also think if they were present, it would also dilute a little bit of the debate, because then there's so much focus on SWAPO that the other little voices almost don't
count.
And you don't want that. You want and so you kind of an even playing field for everybody. So I get that side, but then there's also the other side where I think like, yes, it would be nice to engage you and understand like what is your plan for the next 5 years. That's also important. So yeah, it's I guess it's how you.
Maria, that is some of the other complaints is manifestos and parties. We sit in Windhoek. We are following a different campaign. There are smaller campaigns in the regions of all the parties. So UDF, at a place like Varamkwala, while we are sitting here, there are maybe 10 guys under a tree discussing what the UDF stands for, why AGAP is this, things like that.
Yeah.
We must not underestimate that debate, or not that debate, that information session. There's big parts of Namibia that have no cell phone reception, so they have to engage
each other.
And they do. And that's why sometimes we are surprised about some results out of some areas or localities, or because they do. Churches play a big role there, schools, teachers.
They mobilize each
you
other.
have a manifesto, you are continuously making available the cabinet decisions. Maybe that is not articulated well enough through all the media because of space, because of time, and things. So what the other parties, and we heard what some of them will be doing. That nice to have. I must say there's another challenge tonight that I would like to see from the sidelines. You know, when we look at the soccer match between Arsenal, Manchester United, or the World Cup final, all eyes are on the referee most of the time. It doesn't depend what the result of the game is most of the time the first allowing a goal, disallowing a goal, giving a penalty. I think the moderators might have their hands full tonight, and that to me will be an interesting phenomenon to look at, because you know some of these parties feel very strong, some of the leaders have got very strong personalities and views. I very much doubt if they will be calmed down quickly.
Yeah, it will be. And I understand the moderator is Wanda. I think that's what I heard on radio.
Wanda Guchu. I see.
Okay.
And he has no affiliation to any party, so they wanted to take somebody that's obviously
neutral.
Because he's Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's
it makes sense. No, I mean it does make sense. He's
okay.
Wanda has been in the country for the last 15 years. He's a Zimbabwean guy.
So he's ZANU-PF.
But I'm telling you guys, this election for me, I think this whole period is one of the most exciting periods that I've seen in many a years. Just the opinions that the different opinions that you have from all four corners of our country, and it's really going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to the initial elections, and irrespective of the results whatsoever, but the vibrancy around the.
I want to make a observation on this. What you say now, Neville, a very small one. I think there were always many opinions in the elections. Since the Israelites had to vote whether they must go east or west in the desert. What fascinates me about this, lots of opinions, is because of all the different platforms and ways of communication. But the tolerance of opinions actually breeds more opinions. That is a good thing for democracy. It's a good thing for freedom of speech. And I want to make something very clear today, but that's my personal view. Media cannot claim press freedom. It's not theirs to claim. It's the citizens who engage the media bosses and decision makers, taking that opinion seriously, send it further in newspapers, radio stations, and things. It's the right to know of the citizens that actually secure this free media that we have. Because a citizen asks you a question, you search for the answer, you give the answer, someone else disagree with the answer, he tells you that, you go and look for another answer. So that the real freedom of our media, the core of it, is freedom of speech. That can only happen in a very strong, confident, resilient democracy that Namibia was from day one. And for 30 years it was protected. Either by the Constitution or the presidents from Nayoma right through. And unfortunately, as life goes, there are two things that I believe strongly in. No good deed goes unpunished. And the other thing I feel strongly in is that nobody is as unkind as your own kind. So you give this and you protect all those rights. Be sure you will be the victim of it. I usually tell journalists that I appointed in my life, the best that I've appointed. I've appointed them, and I also made bad decisions, but the good ones I made, I appointed because they had some opportunism in them. There was a flavor of that, and I knew that is the opportunity for them to get info. Most of the time, I was the victim of that opportunism. I want to go off, and my uncle is there, or that. But that is the way the nation swings. But the rights we have, the privileges we have, and I think Namibia, we also did not abuse it. We did also not incite violence in over 30 years. I think we must take some credit for the confidence in free speech. And then the technology gave us the platforms.
Yeah.
The only thing lacking now is the 2-3 seconds that social media don't give you, but that is in your own head, to consider what you hear and make up your own mind and establish your own common sense for yourself. That's all.
Wat sê jy so doodstil hierso? Jy sit en kyk net vir hom kriebel.
You want to ask me out for me?
Julle wil ek moet my mond oopmaak. Los my net.
Nee.
Wil jy saam met my eet?
Okay.
Ek sal met 'n loudspeaker moet gaan sit daar in die crowd. Dit is disruptive force.
No, but sorry for that serious intervention, but I felt it's also time for that to be said.
Yeah. We appreciate you coming into the studio always.
My English is very bad because Chris, your English is at extremely high level today.
No, it's goed babbes. Grootfontein English. Ochivanda. You know, when independence came and someone asked me my name, I just answer yes. I say, what's your name? I say, yes. I later learned it from the TV. My role model was the founding father.
Yeah.
Later I spoke like him. People said, no. Don't imitate the guy. Speak your own.
But Chris, we're so much looking forward to this tonight. From a neutral point of view, it would
I
really
think
just
they
be
must
cool.
have this machine that you blow before you go in. Because I attended meetings like that. The guy is sleeping. And 2 minutes before the end, he wakes up. And you see the guys in front of him. Where's your ID? I've seen that.
Oh, man. Yeah, good morning to you guys joining us on the live stream as well on the Informanté Facebook page. I see the comments are coming in thick and fast. Moet ons onder of bo begin. Corné Spiegel, venue decision could have been better. Debate should focus on points that negatively affect the minorities. Importantly, challenges, the debate should not be allowed to dwell on the overemphasis of corruption, yet distinct corruption as a point of urgency, and also addressing it ethically.
A very good point.
Yes. Resandali, yes, good question. How do we in the diaspora get the opportunity to view the debate live? All right, please, guys, you guys must go catch this debate footage for us. I don't know if they will allow us to stream it for you, but yeah.
I think they'll also be streaming it. Like we're not responsible for this. We're just
we're not hosting it. We're basically just discussing it this morning, and we're also going to be attending. Execute that comment. Bradley Kubi said, morning fam, how do we RSVP for the debate? Website or email address, please. I guess you can try and get in touch with, is it Eagle FM? Mm-hmm. Yes, they are the ones who are hosting the debate, and they will be better placed to answer questions like where you can stream it live, or if you can even debate via the internet, or if you can partake in the debate via the internet. The spa plastic, though. Where's the plastic?
What do you call this bag? Achtertas? What do you call that?
Hy tog die mense tot
Wat is daai ding wat jy draai jou besigheidsgoed in?
Ja,
die tassetjie.
Akketassetjie.
Ask everybody. I live with them the past 15 years. Maybe I will show them my shoes.
Johnny Whiteman Martin, did Maria just say other little voices? Oh,
yeah.
Remember,
yes, she said it.
Remember, Maria, teeth of a smaller dog
it.
bite deeply hurts than a big old dog.
Yes, she said it.
There is other smaller voices.
Yeah, she calls the Namibian EFF small. I mean, we know Namibian EFF is a very big party.
They've got 0 seats in parliament. I'm sorry, I like to call it.
But are they not going to win massively? Are the parliament not too small?
The parliament is too small.
Must it not be 150 members?
Yes. Maria, you must talk
but guys, like we spoke about the issue of only, just touched on it briefly, of only 2 candidates or something like that. But this issue of, imagine there are so many of the small parties, like so many. And what they do in most cases, in most democracies, is they end up splitting the a minority vote. Very rarely does it actually affect the
you're fighting for
ruling
the crumbs.
Party, whatever. Yes.
Yeah, you're fighting for the crumbs.
Yeah. So maybe it is an issue that I would personally like to see discussed.
No. Please let us be clear. You're not going to ask for. Itula doesn't have a party.
I know.
No. You're saying the two-man party, because that is the piece. Why don't all the oppositions throw their weight behind him? Right?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No.
Okay, no, wait.
No, let me finish.
But you're not
what you're saying.
Oh, yes.
No, let me finish. I'm not saying what you're saying. I want to clarify what other people are saying. That's why I don't want you to take offense.
Okay.
All right. People are saying, why don't all the opposition just throw their weight behind the IC, and then he has a better chance, right? But here's the thing. He's still campaigning for SWAPO. So ultimately, and this is what people don't realize, right? You throw your weight behind Itula, who is still saying he's part of SWAPO. You, as the opposition party, get a thrashing in the National Assembly elections where you don't even get 1 seat. And then Itula loses, let's assume, because that's what will most likely happen. I will go on record. I'm very confident that that's what will happen, but that's my prediction. Let's say he loses. So now, SWAPO is stronger in the national elections, and their president, their candidate, has won. Where are you as the opposition now placed? You threw your weight to somebody and you forgot about your role and what you need to do, and that is discourse in the National Assembly. The fight is not the president. The fight, actually, the real fight is actually in the National Assembly.
No, I agree.
Because that's where you discuss issues.
Can I just to assist Maria a bit, she's well capable of doing it herself, but I just want to add some facts here. People are complaining about the big parliament. There's 102 seats. Those 102 seats allowed smaller parties to get entry into the National Assembly because they needed less votes to get the seat. Because it's bigger. If it were only 72 members, lots of parties would not have made it, because in this past elections they needed about 9,000 votes to get a seat. There are parties in the National Assembly with 3,000 votes, because what they do, they take the carry-over votes and take it down. There are parties with 3,000 votes, but at least they represent some people in Namibia. Whether it's small or big doesn't matter. Were it a parliament of 72, you would have needed 13,000 votes. You might have only had 3 parties. So the idea of the Namibian democracy is not America. You have one party this side and one party that side.
Republic.
The idea about our democracy is anybody can form a party, association, to influence government policies and decisions. Even the smallest group can say, let's organize ourselves, let's lobby, let's talk, because we feel about a certain thing differently. And that is to make more voices heard. If we have only two parties, it's a problem. It means you either have to agree with one or the other one.
Yeah.
Even SWAPO, 99% of SWAPO don't agree with all the policies of SWAPO. They agree with most.
Yeah.
In all the other parties, a party who tells me that his member believe 110% in his program and his representative, it's not true. You believe in more than you disagree with. And now where must the others go? Must they now not vote because they don't like Neville and they don't like Chris? Now we take democracy out. That is, to me, I think we must sit down calmly and think the more parties, the merrier. Where this thing comes in of alliances, next year, I think we are confusing two elections. Local and regional elections. Yes, in a regional election, you throw your support together and you push out one of them. But not in presidential elections. You must have as many voices as there are Facebook and WhatsApp platforms. We cannot have communication platforms. Now tell everybody you have the right to explore the whole debate, but when we vote, we give you two choices. No, Facebook or whatever can have his own party.
And let's just be clear, if you came out as a second runner, you don't get the prime minister position. It's a presidential.
J-flop.
It's clear.
Yeah.
Whether it was just marginal, even if you flopped with 2%, flopped is 8. You understand? It's not like if the numbers are 60-40 in National Assembly, 40 guarantees you a lot of seats.
Yeah.
As opposed to the 60. But in the presidential, 60-40, 40, it doesn't mean anything.
40 doesn't mean anything.
49.9 also means nothing.
Nothing.
There are no silver medals.
Yes. That's the danger.
And this is what I said, and I think I had this discussion with a few friends over the weekend. And I said, you know what? Choose your presidential candidate. But choose your presidential candidate wisely, because you need to know whether you're going to either, waste your vote on a guy who's going to be completely insignificant, like you do say, after this election. Because if he's not going to win, he's not going to win, and he's not going to feature anywhere after this.
He will not last 5 minutes, because Parliament, that is a SWAPO Parliament, will put the motion of no confidence in.
That's what I was going to say. And they'll probably that's one thing I predict is going to happen. SWAPO will get more seats this year than at the previous elections, because now you have two people that this system never made sense. But we'll
motion of no confidence.
Opposition parties should stand their ground and push their agenda.
Yes.
As their own individual parties.
Yes.
The fact that they're looking for a messiah is for me very disappointing.
It means they don't have something.
They don't have their own confidence.
You see, the thing about it fascinates me. An independent candidate means the following. The ruling party, or he believes that the supporters of a ruling party don't want the candidate. But also people don't want to vote for any other candidate on the list. So I'm the compromise candidate. Now how the other presidential candidates can then follow his lead, to me I don't understand it. It's what Maria says. Is it an election ploy? Is it a publicity stunt? Or why don't they stand on their own?
Yeah, they should stand.
Or do they enjoy the publicity?
I hope there's going to be a few mics in the audience, that the audience can engage the candidates. I think there's going to be a lot of questions that will come out.
But I think it's going to center around that.
Yeah.
And for that, the moderator must be sharp.
Hy moet sterk wees. Moet baie sterk wees.
All strength to wonder.
Cubase, in conclusion, ons luister. There must be some more comments.
Ek sal vir julle comments lees. Bran Baske. Good morning. Sometimes you need to shake up things. Forming a new political party seems like a failing system. Most parties were made from the breakaway from main political parties and are finding it hard because votes are spreading throughout the spectrum, meanwhile still keeping the main party strong. I think what the independent candidate is doing might be a good formula. He's not against the party, just has issues with how the ship is being run. Tena Nambwa, morning crew, the opposition party leaders should really intensify their political campaigns, right? By the looks of things, Itula is outshining the PDM, LPM radical attacks on SWAPO. So far, PDM's Winani is low, Nudos, Esther, Ushiwa is hushed, RDP is still soft, Adam Isaacs of DP, I don't even know some of these parties, of DPN is only in the south. I guess the opposition parties must intensify their political campaigns. I think everybody should maybe step it up a little bit. Also, Moro Mkribo. Last I comment, but I know you can check it. Okay, there's one here. Morning, amazing radio people. Love you guys. So with love from South Africa. Interesting. I can't wait to see this. That was Adam Fisser. Yes, it's Mutekurwa. Mutekurwa Mbanje na Makena. The debate's supposed to be live on TV, otherwise it'll be a drop in the ocean.
Streaming these days are way more effective than TV, to be honest.
Yeah. No, we watch cell phones. We don't watch TVs anymore.
What if the debate goes past 9 o'clock?
It will.
Asking that
No,
it will.
As the NBC goes off at 9 months.
End of transmission.
Hey, Khanji. You said the same thing this morning, and I said to you, no, I think they've changed that. I think they're back to normal broadcasting.
9.
How up, man, Chris?
It's 9. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. End of transmission. Now you're in the middle of the debate.
Just when the interesting questions come. Chris, somebody asked something here. I can't seem to find the comment now, but basically it was with regards to how the phosphate mining has not been brought up anyway in anybody's manifesto, and perhaps what Chris's opinion is. That was basically the gist of the comment. I can't read it verbatim now, and I no ears for doing.
Guys, phosphate mining and any other mining and the exploitation of natural resources is maybe one of the great constitutional achievements of Namibia. One of the only constitutions in the world where environment and all those things are protected or supposed to be protected under law. And if you develop those natural resources, it must be in a sustainable way. The ombudsman have a duty to protect those possible exploitation. My view on phosphate mining is if it's not done in the world, deep sea phosphate mining, I don't think Namibia have all the science and the experience over years to now be the country who does it pioneering correctly. We know that the owners did phosphate mining in shallow waters in North Africa. And we know that the shallow water mining led to disastrous environmental impact. And we know that phosphate is becoming, land phosphate, for instance, near the Dead Sea, does not exist anymore. I think Namibia, and for all our scientists and naturalists and environmental activists, I respect them deeply. I don't think some of us were so far out in sea as where that deposit lies. I don't think I don't think we have scientists who know how deep the sea is in that area. So I think on this issue, let's give science a chance, let's respect the Constitution, and when all those things come together in a positive way, of course, we do the best for the country.
But Lachie.
That's right. It's a private joke within myself.
African Dream, Comrade Maria, please don't wake up the little guys. We need more SWAPO votes.
We'll rectify it soon. We'll rectify it.
Viva SWAPO.
Romario R. Cooper, I thought Hage would never in his life speak. What? Okay, Kenny Badayasi. Well, you live and you learn, Mr. President, that these elections will humble you. Opinions. Biza Black, imagine Dr. Itula bringing on his smart attack just before 9 o'clock.
Article 45.
Out with NBC. That's no
Section 3 of Article 46.
Of the Constitution.
Edwin Kavihuha says, please don't forget to include Mr. Lucato in the debate.
No, I think it's going to be there.
Yeah, that dude is very interesting. He makes everything seem possible with what a character.
Don't know, I understand.
No doubt.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see this. The debate, of course. There's still few comments.
This will be bigger than the MTC's boxing challenge.
No,
I think the aftermath of this, it will be big.
Let me tell you what I particularly like about the elections and as we're progressing. I mean, I like to compare. I've been alive since the first. I couldn't participate in the first one, but I've been around. And one thing I like about whether we agree or we disagree is that people are becoming more engaging and starting to understand national issues and there's national interest. And that for me is very important and it's a good thing to see because that's how you equip yourself. You need to understand. Yes, obviously there'll always be sensationalism. It's the nature of politics. But the fact that we have, especially even the youth, just being a little bit more vocal, being interested in national issues, that I think is a change from just 5 or even 10 years ago. So that's very important for democracy and for national discourse. That national discourse is very, very important. So however else the votes go, and we all have our own predictions. We cannot take away that this is happening right now. People are talking about stuff.
I'm kidding.
I think at the moment the interest is also a bit scattered all over the place.
Yeah, of course.
I think by 2024 maybe it's going to be a bit more focused and people will be able to stick to the issues. Because now people just jump at any little thing. It's like if it's a reason to attack the next guy, then everybody is on it.
That will always be in politics.
Guys,
we mature with time.
Just very quickly, I'm just getting a screenshot here of on a group that talks about McHenry Venani's visit to Havana, where he stayed a couple of years back. And in the morning, he promised innocent family who offered him free accommodation in Havana to build a decent brick house in front of the media. Now, 5 years, Honorable Vanana, not even a bag of cement donated to the family he promised a house. Yesterday, the family in Havana was at their shack as they only saw smiling Vanani greeting them in convoys with a new vehicle. So this is the type of leadership that we don't want in Namibia.
But is that been verified?
Say again?
Has that been verified?
No, well, Vanani can answer the question tonight. Did he promise the people cement? Or did he build the house, or what?
No. What I'm not saying it's inaccurate. What I'm saying is it fits a little bit into what I say. We get information and we just run with it. We're not in the process of verifying whether something is accurate or not before we run with it. And
to add to Maria's thing, look where we are. There's now big news about the independent candidate wanting now answers from the ECN.
From the ECN, yes.
I can assure you, you can Google it. those questions to the ECN were asked every election since 1992.
Yeah.
Maybe the independent candidate was not in Namibia, but then he can just, ask someone. But that questions were asked and answered, and most of the time not satisfactory. Now we have a situation where political parties don't want to sign a code of conduct that it seems that he was now the driving force. But without the code of conduct, you want to ask the ECN how to conduct themselves. It makes it a bit difficult. When you play a game, you cannot be the referee, the striker, the goalkeeper.
You can't do it all yourself.
You cannot be all. Sometimes you have to accept a few. And on the topic of Vanaani, his biggest, to me, and now I'm questioning how I read the story. His biggest show of statesmanship was in the last election, when right after the results were announced, EVM results, he welcomed it as the best and true reflection of the Namibian vote. That was in the last election. I did not like the EVMs, but when the leader of the opposition
endorsed
said
it.
that, and it was the only election in Namibia that was never taken to court. All the others were taken to court. Kanime, with his 600, you remember that? So our elections were always contested. What is different now? It is contested even before the elections.
Look, the whole Vanaani thing, if you have issues with the leadership that you elected, that is why we have elections. And that's why we have them at these 5-year intervals. And this is where you play your part as the citizen, right?
Just card-carrying.
Yes, as a card-carrying voter, you go register. You can't say, no, I'm not going to go register. No, I'm not going to go vote, and then sit and talk about Vanaani said he was going to build us a house, and he didn't. But anyway, Bradley
it's it's 9:15.
Bradley Kuvisep says, I hope Dr. Itula will change his suit for tonight. Chalane.
He must come with his wisdom tooth tonight.
Zoraina Zoe Janse. Hey, you got balls addressing your boss. Good point, Chris. These political parties complain about nonsensical things just because they see a camera in front of them. Logic must be followed.
Okay.
Logic must prevail.
That is Zoe, that one. I love her spirit.
I know she's looking for a promotion.
No, she's not like that.
No, I'm just playing. Guys, thank you. Thank you for your comments in and outside of the building. And of course, thank you for joining us each and every morning. Ons is klaar. Ek dink ons is klaar.
And we will inform you tomorrow what happened. Hopefully nobody has assaulted each other. There no fight broke out on stage.
Yeah.
I'll probably be sick tomorrow. I'll come with a letter from my traditional healer.
But we need to find out today, guys, in fact, whether the debate will be streamed.
I think they will
No, they are streaming it.
They are streaming it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, if I'm not there physically, but I will speak. Josie, if you do hear me, I want to be there. I did send an email, okay, but I haven't got a confirmation yet that I have a seat.
Played the man Guara on air. Now you want it. Yeah. Said met jou vieren.
Moet ons weer begin saam met jou?
Nee, ons moet deur Maria vras, the only
Yeah,
one.
Ons is confirmed.
So that is why you got a seat.
Is that so?
Tell us those stories, man. Dis nou julle. Kan jy die res van die
Christmas
Dinsdag weer out of here?
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.